We really did go from winter to summer. Like a week ago, we were in coats.
Yeah.
I
But it's going
think.
back. It's not going to be real cold, but it's, let's see. I think they said it was going to be in the 50s, like next week or something like that.
Oh wow! Well, I did see where um, tomorrow it's going to be like 90 something, and then Thursday it's going to be in the 60s. So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So tomorrow it's going to be real warm.
Yeah.
I might have to wear a tank top. Oh no, me and this menopause, we're going to try to figure out how to live life with heat.
Well, now there's supposed to be some type of medicine that's supposed to help with that.
Well, I know, but if I can stand it, I don't want to have to take medicine.
I understand.
For now, I just got these little fans. I don't have my bag in here with me, but I found a little portable fan that you can charge the batteries to. And so it has like 3 or 4 different speeds. So you just hold it and it just sits there and blows air on you. So at least you can dry the sweat.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll figure it out. But it is nice to see the sun again and to feel warmth. If you get a chance to just sit outside for a little bit and absorb some of that vitamin D, if you are comfortable taking your shoes off and putting your feet in the grass, it just does something to you that makes you just feel alive again. So I did that this past weekend. I walked around the yard and I found a little part of an egg where a bird had busted out and the egg was on the ground. That was kind of cool.
I'm too old to be enjoying putting my feet in the grass.
Oh, okay. Well, I said if you feel comfortable. But I like to sit outside in the sun just a little bit and then go inside to the air conditioner. Well, Miss Nora, I don't know if you're getting messed up today with your camera or if you intentionally have your camera off, but you may be outside enjoying the weather because typically you like to do Tai Chi outside. So, hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you're not having any problems. Miss Linda's in here with no issues, but that doesn't mean your Clarice won't have any issues. Has there been any problems with yours, Miss Linda?
Oh, I got a notice, something about it came up about the game that I asked you about getting put
Uh
on
huh.
board. That they added something and it's got to be something that I don't even know. But it came up on there that it has to be,
Gonna be one of
the
those days.
administrator has to install it or something. I
Hmm.
don't know.
And that is, remind me what it's called.
Royal Kingdom.
Royal Kingdom.
Yeah.
I'll just send them a note whenever we get off this afternoon, um, to just take a look at it.
Okay.
Because I don't know if they know what's on everybody's tablets, but they rely on us to let them know if we're having any issues. So we'll just see if there maybe needs to be an update or something. There you are. I see you, Miss Nora. Do you see us?
I was dark at first.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm coming in. takes a minute for me to get all my little pieces together and come across to where you live. You remember that in Willy Wonka where he had to go into a million pieces and he was in the air and then he showed up over it to the other television? Anyway, you may not have seen Willy Wonka. And the Chocolate Factory, I think. Yeah, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Alright, y'all, let's get ourselves started in Tai Chi, and we're going to practice what we know. I got a focus for us this week, and we'll talk about that whenever we get to our movements. But let's get through our warm-ups first. Our warm-up stretches, anyway, to our major joints. So let's get in our stable stance, where our feet are about shoulder width or hip width apart. We have that slight bend in our knees. We have a upright, good posture like a string that pulls up and down at the same time. But our shoulders are relaxed. We're not holding any tension anywhere. We're just holding ourselves in a very stable way, conscious of how we hold ourselves and move our bodies. So we'll be prepared to make any adjustments as needed. Let's start with our neck. Make sure you're breathing, inhaling and exhaling where it makes sense. Because all of our lungs are different and we breathe at different paces. Repeat to yourself, slow, smooth, and continuous if you find yourself speeding up a little bit. The other one for our neck, we go side to side. This is the one I get stuck on because it feels so good to stretch my neck. I went outside at lunch and now I feel like I need a bath. I feel like that pollen is all over me. So if you see me itching, it's because I feel like pollen is on me. Let's roll our shoulders. Let me take this chapstick out of my pocket. Oh, we got Miss Annie coming in. Hold on just a second. Let me let her in and check her is here. Come on in, Miss Annie. We're on our shoulders. We're rolling forward and then rolling back. As you go through these major joints, I just want you to pay attention to if you have any special, not special, but if you're especially stiff or tense in certain areas, and maybe you want to come back later and revisit these moves. Shoulder circle. our spine. Let's grab our ball and separate, pushing up and down at the same time. And just being very mindful of our spine stretching. We're not thinking about our arms stretching, we're thinking about our spine. Back to our ball, and let's take it side to side. Stretching our spine in a different way. Or warming it up more than stretching. Depends on how tight you are. Some of our joints are tighter than others, and some of these moves may really stretch those joints or the muscles that surround the joints. Now for our hips, shifting weight to one leg, heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back, hands forward. Continuing to breathe. Paying attention to my posture, not leaning with this movement, but staying upright. Switch legs. Shifting weight to the side, tapping that foot out. Loose fists by our hips. For our knees, shifting weight to one leg, lift, tap and punch. Now let's step out, keeping both feet on the floor. Let me back up. Both feet on the floor as you shift a little weight to that front leg and back. Keep your loose fists. Notice the strength in your legs as you shift forward and shift the weight back. Anytime we have weight on one leg, notice how hard that muscle is working. Give it appreciation. And if you need to hold on to a table or a chair or even the wall, something that's not going to move, to be able to have weight on one leg, do that to really make these muscles work. When our muscles work, that's when they get stronger, and then that helps us be more stable and less likely to fall. So it's okay to be challenged. Just modify and do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Listen to your body. All right, for our ankles, I know I have good days with balance. Some days I just feel extra wobbly. Sometimes in the morning I feel wobbly. By the afternoon I feel better, or vice versa. So just notice that. Don't think you're going to be the same all the time. Our bodies may get tired in the afternoons, or our bodies may be sore from something else that we did. We may have a little inflammation from something that we ate. So, our bodies change every day. So just pay attention to it and take care of it as it asks you to. Let's go big toe, little toe. If you're not paying attention, you won't know. Something I learned years ago is that a woman's cycle, the hormone cycle, affects how much weights that you lift. So I was feeling very weak one day, and I didn't understand what was going on, and I learned so that's why you listen to your body and you just go with what it needs. That's part of what Tai Chi teaches us. So give it a good shake. Hopefully you feel nice and warmed up and ready to go through our moves. We're going to go through our basic 6 several times. We'll go through our advanced movements. We'll review those specifically one by one, and we'll go through all of it together. At any time you have any questions, let me know. If there's any certain move, it doesn't matter if it's basic 6 or advanced. Just let me know and we'll go over it. I have different ways to talk about these moves. So maybe the way I described it or explained it the first time, that might not have spoke to you, but I can talk about it in a different way. All right, here we go. Let's get in our stable stance. Today, what I want us to really focus on is the empty step before the weight transfer. And so that empty step is prolonging the time where one leg is holding our weight. Which, what did I say? When your one leg is holding your weight, that's how it gets stronger, how it gets more stable. And so we empty step, then we transfer the weight. And it encourages that slow, smooth, and continuous principle as well. But every time you place a foot, I want you to be thinking that it's empty. You don't immediately give weight to it. All right, here we go from the top. We're going to breathe, no tension, and commence. Open, close. Single whip. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. So we do quite a bit of empty stepping, and the majority of it happens with our waving hands in clouds. And so that Tai Chi walking reminds us about spacing, because if we were to go and step way out here, we can't empty step. We have to already give that foot weight if we go out that far. So we recognize if maybe we did step out too far and we're not able to empty step, that maybe next time we need to make our step a little bit smaller so that we can keep our weight on that other leg. And so in waving hands in clouds, we step empty, we turn, switch and turn. That whole time the weight stays on that other leg. When we get done with that turn is when we shift. So we're practicing that empty step for a long time as we switch. Then we give it the weight. Empty step, switch, turn. Then we give it weight. So waving hands in clouds gives us the opportunity to really see what that other leg has in it. How strong is it that we can remain empty on that opposite leg while we turn? So pay attention to that as we go through it again with our basic 6. Thinking about empty step, then the weight transfer. All right, here we go. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. So see, each time you practice it, you get better at it. You know, last week we talked about focusing on that transition from either one movement to another or direction, to not get in a hurry or a rush, but take your time with that switch. And then at the end of that waving clouds, hands in clouds, you know, you put your hand up there and pull it forward for open and close. And that helps it be slow, smooth, and continuous. So hopefully you still carry that practice over to today. And so now we have a new focus, but in those moments, don't forget to make those transitions special and significant. All right, let's do it one more time, and then y'all will let me know if you need me to go over any of the basic 6 moves. But that empty step is going to really get us ready for our advanced 6, because we do a lot of I'm going to mute Miss Nora. For some reason, my voice is echoing on her tablet. All right, so when we do our advanced 6, we do a lot of empty steps. And so practicing it with our easier, like basic 6, we get better when we do the advanced. All right, here we go. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Any basic 6 movements that you need me to go over?
Possibly the waving hands and clouds.
Uh-huh.
I
All
think
right.
I get mixed up on that.
That's okay. Waving hands in clouds is one of my favorite moves because you can break out the parts of it and just do the feet work, or you can just do the hand work. You can do the hand work seated. There's so many different ways to do it, and it's a way to practice our principles in an easy way. And I think it's very therapeutic because there's a circular type motion to it. But first we want to think about what's going on with our feet. And so we're Tai Chi walking is what we're doing. And so we have step and we have shift. So that's all we're doing with our feet. Step and shift. Switch and turn are our hand movements. These are the this is the cheat sheet, the same one as that's in the back of the room. This is the one that's in front of me. That's this is your brain whenever you just want to do the moves. You don't want to have to think about what's next. And so it's step, switch, turn, shift, step, empty. We got Francis entering the room. I wonder who this is. Let's let him in and see who Francis is. Do y'all know who Francis is? I don't know who's Francis. Hold on, let's just see. Alright, so switch, which is changing hands. Turn, which is wave, and then shift, of course, that's our weight. All right, so this is your cheat sheet. I know that Miss Linda has it in front of her because I've been to her house and she has it on a piece of cardboard and it sits right there in front of her. And that, like I said, that can be our brain. I still have it right here. You see how important it is. I never take this down in class. But back to the footwork of step and shift. So, of course, we're coming from single whip, but the footwork is step, and whenever we step, it's empty, and when we step, it's a little outside of hip width. Then we shift. Then we take the other foot, step. Now we're about at hip width. Then we shift. So all we're doing is step and shift. So we step, empty, then we shift. Then we step, empty, then we shift. Step, shift. Step, shift. So I call this Tai Chi walking to the side. And so this is that move that you can just practice empty step, practice weight transfer, and get your legs stronger. You don't even have to worry about hand work. And you can walk, Tai Chi walk until you hit a wall. Or in my case, get out of a camera. So it's Tai Chi walking, empty step, shift. Empty step, shift. Now I see Francis on here, but there's no camera, so I don't know who Francis is. If you want to let me know, I want you to feel welcome. Shift. But we hadn't had a Francis. Step, shift, step. All right, so you're getting a good feel for the Tai Chi walking. And then whenever you get to the wall, go to the other side. Step, shift, step, empty, shift. See, we're Tai Chi walking. Shift. I feel like a cat. You know how a cat will like sneak up on somebody? I don't know that a cat steps sideways, but we can pretend. We can pretend anything we want to. But thinking about slow, smooth, continuous work. Moving our foot, it's empty, giving it the weight. All right, so that's what our footwork is doing. Easy enough. Our hands are easy enough. It's when we put them together where it gets really tricky. And so, like I said, we're coming from that single whip. And here's our upper body words. Switch, turn. So when we switch, we have one hand at our hip and the other hand is cross-body with our palm facing out. I think of this like a sash, kind of like we're in a pageant. We won the queen, and this is our sash. So that whenever we switch, we go into this position, and then we're going to turn. Now, when we turn, we go in the direction of the hand that's on top. So in this case, our sash hand is on top, and we turn. Now we switch. This hand comes down to our hip. This one comes up cross body. And then we switch. Switch. Then we turn. Turn. Then we switch. Hand comes down. This hand comes up. Turn. Switch. Turn. Switch. Turn. Switch. Now I want to remind you of our spinal warm-up where we have our ball. And the hand that's on top is the direction we go. So this is very similar to that movement where we go here, switch, turn, switch. So that's what we do in the beginning of our warm-up. It's just like our waving hand. Well, no, it's very similar to our waving hands in clouds movement. Our hands are just a little different. So our hands are here. But we turn. And then we switch. And then we turn. Switch. So see, our footwork is pretty easy by itself. Our hand work is pretty easy by itself. It's when we put them together that it gets a little tricky. So that movement I was doing just now. Let me drag this chair over. I don't want to drag the chair that has wheels. Not when I tell y'all to use a stable chair. So that waving hands in clouds, imagine, okay, so you can sit down. You see my feet are about hip width apart. I'm practicing upright posture. So I'm practicing some of our principles even from a seated position. And to do the hand movements of waving hands in clouds from a seated position. So I'm turning and switch. Sometimes people like to practice this because they can see their legs out of their peripheral vision, and it's easier for them to keep it small, to stay within their frame and not go too far. Because when we're standing, you may feel an inclination to go way over here. So here, switch. So this movement right here is very circular in nature. It's elliptical, it's not really a circle. But circles are relaxing. And so we can stay seated and do this hand movement. Breathe. Make sure our armpits are open. We have those open joints. As we inhale and exhale, going slow, smooth, and continuous. This is meditation in motion. And sometimes Tai Chi is called that, meditation in motion. But when you do that seated, you don't have to worry so much about balance. Especially if that's a struggle for you, you can do this seated and get those benefits of Tai Chi of reducing stress and anxiety and just relaxing. You're improving the mobility of your spine as you do that side to side. All right, so putting them together. When I first started, I would just do one thing at a time. That way you're not overwhelmed. And so, again, you're coming from that single whip. So what's the first thing you're going to do? Is step. Empty. You don't give it weight yet. Next thing you're going to do, switch your hands or change your hands. What's the next word? Turn. Turn. And then what's the next word? Shift. Shift. Step, switch, turn, shift. Step, switch, turn, shift. Step, switch, turn, shift. So you do one word at the time. I'm going to turn around so you can follow me from behind, coming from that single whip. Here we go. Step, switch, turn, shift. Step, switch, turn, shift. Step, switch, turn, shift. Step, switch, turn, step. And right now we're not worried about 6 or any certain number. We're just practicing the move. Switch, or shift, sorry. Step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift. See, that's all the parts. That's just broken down, and you notice that empty step, because you're doing that one thing at a time, and I was going a lot slower. That really worked our legs good, didn't it? So once you practice it, that really slow version, that chopped up version, then you try to make it a little more smooth and continuous. So you can still do one thing at the time, but make it a little more smooth. So step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. So now that I've practiced it a couple times, I know what's coming next. So I don't just repeat the word and then figure out what that word is or what to do at that time. I know what's coming next. So I can go right in to that next move. And that helps it be more smooth and continuous. So that cheat sheet with those 4 words is very helpful in learning waving hands and clouds. Keep practicing that way, and you know it more and more, so you know it better. The way I practice it is I step and switch at the same time. Then I turn, and when I'm done turning, then I shift. So I only combine these 2 moves. You don't have to do it. You can keep them all separate, but when you practice it more and more, it starts blending together. So here's the end of that single whip. Here's step and switch at the same time. Turn and shift. Step and switch at the same time. Turn, shift. Step and switch. Turn, shift. Step and switch. Turn, shift. See? It just comes from practice and breaking down what each of these movements are, and then start putting them together, and then the more you practice, the more smooth it'll be. Is that helpful, Miss Annie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, that was just one direction, but like I said, you can wave hands in clouds until you get to this wall, and then you can go wave hands in clouds until you get into the other wall. So when you're just practicing waving hands in clouds, you don't have to worry about only doing 6. So you just practice the movement, and that's how you'll get better at it. But today's lesson that I really wanted to get across was about the empty step, and I'll go ahead and tell y'all that that's what I was going to say at the end of class, is that for anybody who doesn't want to learn Tai Chi, or maybe you're overwhelmed by Tai Chi, or maybe you just don't feel like doing it today, but you want to get your legs stronger, Maybe you have issues with balance, so you want to do the basic. The basic of getting our legs stronger is the principle of weight transfer. And using that empty step prolongs that other leg holding our weight. So that's a move that I was going to encourage you to do. If you want to break from doing Tai Chi, do that walking to the side that we do in Waving Hands and Clouds. That's Tai Chi walking. I told y'all that at the beginning of class to just really practice Tai Chi walking. Empty step, weight shift, empty step. And the more you practice this, the better you're going to get at spacing of your feet. You're going to start noticing when you step too big. Because if you step too big, your weight's going to automatically transfer because your legs are so wide. If you have your feet side by side, then you're going to feel a little bit of wobbly. But most likely your step's going to be too big. That will be generally what people do. So the more you practice Tai Chi walking, the better you're going to get at spacing. And then that translates to our Tai Chi, because what do? We do stepping all the time. When we get to our advanced 6, and this is what you can practice when you want to break from Tai Chi, but you still want the benefits, is Tai Chi walking, where we step forward, empty, then shift, empty, shift, empty, shift. So this new thing that people are talking about on the internet of Tai Chi walking, that's exactly what they're doing, is empty stepping and then weight transfer. Empty step, weight transfer. Empty step, weight transfer. Now I wouldn't do this in public because I would be afraid you might get run over, unless you're not around a bunch of people and you can practice it at your own pace. But empty step and then a weight transfer is at a slower pace than your normal walking. So there's that way to practice weight transfer and empty steps. And then specific to our advanced movements, we can step forward empty, shift, and then that back foot's going to half step. It'll still be behind. Then that back foot's going to step back, shift, and then follow step with the front foot. So we're stepping forward, follow step, then we're stepping back, follow step. So looking at it from the side, it's step, shift, follow step, step, shift, follow step. And that helps us with spacing of our steps for our advanced movements. To just practice empty step, shift, and also the half step. Because when we regular walk, we go forward. When we do those half steps in advanced, we're not going anywhere because we step forward, but then we step back. So it's step, shift, follow step, shift, follow step. So I'm going back and forth. And then I can switch and put the other leg in the front. Shift, step, follow step, step back, shift, follow step. So those are some movements that you can do to get your legs stronger. If you're not ready to go places, if you really need, or if whoever you're sharing this information with needs something stable, whether it be a chair, table, you could use your wall, but I like something where it's about this height to hold on to. Simply shift the weight. Shift. I'm not even picking my feet up off the floor. I'm holding on to my imaginary chair. I'm shifting weight. And then I'm shifting weight to the other side. This is the movement we do in the beginning for our hip warm-up. But what do we do to make it a hip warm-up is we tap it out. And it's that movement right here that moves that hip joint. But not everybody feels comfortable lifting that foot off the floor. So this is a start of just simply shifting the weight first. And then when you get ready, tap it out. When you get ready, tap it out. Or you can just lift it up and put it back down. Just kind of testing that water a little bit of how strong you are and how comfortable. Our warm-ups prepare us for Tai Chi. And sometimes our goal isn't to learn Tai Chi, but to make our body stronger so that we don't fall. And that breaks it down for you in those moves. Transferring weight to one leg. All these different ways to get stronger. And waving hands in clouds is a great move for that, for just the leg work of just Tai Chi walking to the side. But to actually practice all the pieces and parts, like I said, you can do one at a time. Step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, and you can be just as choppy as you want to be until you know it really well, and then start smoothing it out. All right, so let's go over our advanced 6, and keeping that stuff in mind of the empty steps and weight transfers. So I'm going to bring that to mind as I go through the moves, and we'll talk about it more next week, about the specifics of each move. But here we're going from facing the front to facing the left. So we got to do some switching around. We shift, turn that toe, shift, bring that back, empty step, shift, follow step. So I'm not really focusing on what's going on with my hands, but think about how much we did just in that one movement. We went from weight on both legs, shifting to our left, turning that right toe because we're preparing to go to the left, shift back to the right, bring that left foot back, empty step all the way towards the left, shift left, and then follow step right. So that's good practice to learn that it's not always a step. It's that adjustment or that half step. So now we're facing that direction. The next few moves are simply what I was just telling you, where you step back, shift, follow step. That's play the loop. So that learning how big of a step to take back to be able to put your foot on the ground, then give it weight, and then half step. You're not going to be able to step very far. So practice it and you'll get better at it. Parry punch. It's a step, shift, step, shift, step, shift, follow step. See what we're doing? See when we do the hands and the feet, sometimes you forget just how basic of a move it is down on bottom. It's a step, shift, and a follow step. It's an empty step before the shift and a follow step. When we push the tiger, it's a step, shift, empty step. When we block and close, I just said those two backwards. It's a step, shift, empty step. Shift, step, empty step, shift, follow step. That's what it is. The follow step is empty, but it's called a follow step. It's just a half of a step. All right. So we'll go more into our advanced 6 next week. I just wanted you to just take notice of empty steps before the weight transfer. reminding you to practice your Tai Chi walking in all those different ways and getting our legs stronger, and we'll continue to get better at our moves. Any questions before we cool down? All right, let's give ourselves a nice fist massage. Telling our legs thank you for working so hard. And that Tai Chi walking, it gets you tired. You think going so slow couldn't possibly be tiring, but it's going slow that is. Gather tension, let it go. Gather, release. Gather, release. One more time. Gather and let it go. Shoulder circle. We have our fist representing our strength, our fingers together representing our friendship, our thumb in representing humility, reminding us that we're willing to learn and have a lot to learn. We put those together, and in mutual respect, we say namaste. Very good. Thank you for your questions. I love reviewing the moves, and I know everybody likes to review it. And even if you've been doing it for a long time, you're like, ooh, I know this. I'm good at this. Ooh, yeah, let's review it. We all like to have kind of that ego boost that, you know, when we know we're good at something. So thank you for being patient with all the different levels of knowledge here. Y'all let me know if I can do anything for you. If not, I will see y'all next Tuesday. Don't forget to wear green next Tuesday because it will be St. Patrick's Day and you don't want to get pinched.
I'm here by myself. Get pinched.
Well, you'd have to pinch yourself. All right. Well, I love y'all. Y'all have a great week. Enjoy the sunshine while it's lasting, okay?
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.